block, I don't have a ton of friends or connections. That's why when I get an invitation to go out on the town on a Saturday night, I'm usually all in. That is except for last fateful Saturday. I was playing Persona 3 Portable. What's Persona, you ask? Well, it really depends on who you are and how much experience you have with the series. Being an equal opportunity gamer, I have to make a point of this early on. Persona really isn't for everyone. It's not a hard game, but it is a long one, and I'm not going to beat around the bush. A huge amount of your playtime will be cutscenes and in-game text and dialogue. The other huge part is Tartarus, the tower with a zillion floors and limitless amounts of monsters to fight. Persona 3 gives you the opportunity to fill your days with anything you want for an entire year and still follow the game's linear story of fighting one boss a month. Some events are also linear. You'll have to go to school every day except Sundays and holidays, but for the most part, your hours are free to spend singing karaoke and becoming brave enough to commit pedophilia, or taking on classmates to strengthen your bonds of friendship, which in turn will make your persona stronger. After the day's through, you can go to Tartarus in the evening and battle as many shadows as your little heart desires. Repeat. Obviously, there are linear events to keep the plot moving forward sprinkled around the way, but for the most part, this will be your life for the next year, or for you, the next 75 hours. I know what you're thinking. Friendship links? I have to go to school every day? Elle, are you reviewing a dating sim? No, I'm not. Well, not really. Kind of, shut up. While the point of social links is to strengthen your personas, the entities that you use to battle shadows, there's almost no way a normal person will max out every one, nor does the game expect you to. The personas that grow from the links will all end up being fused into new, unrelated personas in a little while if you're playing smartly, so getting your link maxed with Junpei just because you have Huapo isn't the way it works. You'll end up maxing out links because they're available, regardless of which arcana get the boost, and you'll most likely go for your favorite characters because, come on, you want your in-game relationships to revolve. I know it sounds like a dating sim. One of the most colossal parts of P3P is its story, and along with it, the characters. You are Minato Arisato, aka Input Your Name Here, the plain timid slacker who's moving into a new dorm in Iwatodai in accordance with his new school, Gekkoukan. Minato, or Minako if you're a lady, finds out that he has the ability to summon a persona with which to fight shadows. Well, Minato is special and can actually summon more than one. If he can fuse it, he can use it. Wow, that was terrible. The other dorm members who can also use personas let you know that you need to help them fight shadows in this big tower called Tartarus, and because Minato aimlessly goes along with everything, he's just kind of like, yeah, okay. Just a couple of incongruencies. How can Minato pay for school if he's an orphan? Okay, let's get this out of the way. A lot of things are going to happen in the game that won't make any sense and will leave you confused. Many things won't be explained, so let's just make up our minds now that we're going to let the plot be loose with us. That leads me to P3P. You may be asking, if you're unfamiliar with the series, didn't you say Persona 3? What's P3P? Well, in a way, Persona 3 Portable is Persona 3 again. It's just the same story, but now it's on the PSP. Now before you think, wow, that's stupid, hear me out. There's actually a number of legitimate changes to the gameplay and setup in this new version. First of all, you can play as a female lead character. This, besides quelling all my weeaboo desires to romance all the male characters of Persona, gives a new perspective to the rest of the game and offers the new protagonist who has a totally different attitude and perspective than the old hunk Minato Arisato. But don't worry, you can still play as him in P3P if you're totally boring. This time, Persona borrowed some ideas from one of its newer games, Persona 4, and improved a lot of old Persona 3's game stumbles. There weren't huge things, but while playing, it made me feel a lot more justified in the fact that until then, I had accepted buying a copy of a game that I had already bought once on a different system that I didn't even own in the first place. Knocking an enemy off balance by using their weakness is a good tactic, and in Persona 3 Portable, attacking them again will stun them for another turn instead of knocking them back up onto their feet, which never made much sense to me. Getting up from being knocked over yourself no longer takes up your entire turn, and you can give direct commands to other members of your party, such as, "Don't attack Nick's avatar when it's using Moonless Gown, you stupid f***." If you want to pursue romance with another character before maxing out your link with someone else, go right ahead. Akihiko will still love you forever, even if you get with his bro Shinjiro. No more backlinks to worry about, no more getting caught cheating by Chihiro and having her fly into a jealous rage. Pimp freely! Of course, the game is on the PSP, which means that the glorious animated cutscenes from the original Persona are sacrificed in order to accommodate its humble pix limitations. But as long as you play all the way through, you can always watch the cutscenes on YouTube. There also aren't any avatars moving around on the screen, so most of the dialogue and action will be portrayed by sound effects and also a text narrator, which can make it a little hard to justify that you aren't playing a dating sim. Minato's nonchalant running around with his hands in his pockets will instead be a little cursor, pink or blue, and you'll use this to interact with the settings and characters, while you can always quick jump everywhere else by pressing the square button. It's a give and take remake, so basically, if you don't mind giving up XX, you can have Y and Z, although now you can only use Naginatas, which kind of blows. I do admit that Persona can move slowly. Being in school, you have to take midterms and finals, but in all honesty, you don't have to pass them. You'll get charms and academic boosts, which will help you get closer to Akihiko or Mitsuru, but you can always study in the library or pray to the shrine or drink a ton of coffee. If you want to pass easily, though, studying every night may feel tedious, just like Tartarus will if you saved it all for the day before your boss fight. For those more into fighting, Tartarus is actually a pretty satisfying getaway from the mundane school days. Bring 3 of your buddies, all using different types of weapons, and kick ass until your limbs don't work anymore. You don't get insta-tired like you did back in Persona 3, so leveling up is more suited to your pace. Tartarus conversations also get more and more hilarious the more friends you have. I can honestly say that the toughest battles I had were in Tartarus. I was never bested by a full moon arcana the way that I was by mini-bosses scattered through Tartarus's billions of floors. Toward the end of the game, Tartarus may even become too easy for you and monsters will run away, even on the top floors. That's when you can go down to Margaret's Love Dungeon or grind in Monad all night. Fusing personas is also pretty kick-ass. Don't approach the game like Pokemon. You can only level up your personas for so long. I mean, there's no way you're going to go against the Hanged Man with Jack Frost. Don't be afraid to fuse. Fuse everything you can. I made this mistake while playing. I didn't fuse till, the last levels. If you messed up and fused a good one, just revive it from the Compendium. It'll cost a fee, but money is embarrassingly easy to make in this game as long as you snoop around Tartarus and sell all of your old armor. Hint! If you're really patient and have no IRL job, you can even start back at floor 1 and just take all the gold off of every floor you go up and get instant riches. Just beware of the Reaper. Dangerous hint! There's so much to a game like Persona 3, and even more to P3P. It's not for everyone, of course, but I know that there are a lot of people who could find things they like in it. Strategy battlers will have fun picking apart every enemy weakness and coming up with techniques for killing boss monsters like Reapers with tactics like Thunder Rain. If you've got an eye for combinations, you may pour your heart into fusion and easily get the biggest baddies of the game early on, like Thanatos, Orpheus, Tellus, Michael, and Messiah. If you're really here for the story, or admit it, the pretty men, you'll enjoy building up your stats and spending the day eating ramen with your sweetheart until the day that they really open up to you and forge an unbreakable bond.
Please, touch me.
Or maybe you'll be like me, somebody who stumbled onto the game with no experience and was totally taken in by everything. Some people may see P3P as just another version of Persona 3 to release, and I can see how they'd think that. This is the 3rd version of Persona 3 to come out? I'd say that if you were interested in checking the game out, I would definitely test it. It's really something of its own. You should know what this new one has to offer. I played Persona 3 FES on my PS2 as Takashi Mayora over a few months, just getting to the Fortune and Strength boss, when I played P3P as the foil Kaoru Taiteki. I started on Friday night and I didn't stop until Wednesday afternoon. I slept a little bit, sure, but I was like a mole woman, not leaving my room or eating any solid food, doing nothing but playing this game. I'm sure not everybody will get into it the same way I did. Of course, you'll have your real lives to get back to. But playing P3P made me remember something that I'd forgotten for a long time. I love video games so much, and it's been a long time since I was this absorbed into a game. That alone made it worth it that I was limper than noodles for a few days after that. It's times like this that I think, wouldn't it be great if we could all get hot just by drinking coffee every night?
You have such a kind heart.